What's up, guys? Episode 15 of the Foreign Exchange Podcast. I'm back with Tamiem, back with Aaron. Got a special guest appearance going on over here. We got Lucky trying to figure out what he's going to do. Damn, he just turned around.
He wants to go home.
He's camera shy.
He wants us to sell our equipment.
He wants to go home.
He was one of the
I had
commenters.
enough today. I want to go to bed. Is that what you want to do? You want to go to bed? Sorry, you gotta wait a little.
Yeah,
bit.
probably.
You have to wait a little bit. Like
Please, sir, take me home, sir.
So
You
while
have to wait
Tamiem
a
has a
little bit,
standoff, while Tamiem has a standoff going on over there,
Go to bed, bro.
we wanted to
Good boy.
change things up for this episode and just kind of take it easy. I think we really liked the after hours component and kind of the vibe of it. So we decided to, kind of take it after hours for this one. So a lot of things are going on right now in the world, in our bubble of America, sports. So there's a lot of things going on. There's NBA playoffs, UFC was last night. There's a
UFC
war
was
going
last
on in Asia. There's a war going on in
It's Mother's Day today.
and it's Mother's Day.
Happy
Yeah,
Mother's
happy
Day.
Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
What'd you do for Mother's Day today?
I last year, maybe just to set context. So last year, it kind of skipped out of my mind that it was Mother's Day. So, I woke up and my mom had done some groceries. She had bought some vegetables. So I made a makeshift bouquet with vegetables and gave them to her for Mother's Day.
That was last year? Or this
That
year?
was last year. So this year I had to one up myself. So, we had some dinner. We got some, quality time. And I think that's
home cooked or
no, not home cooked.
Where'd you go?
I did make home cooked breakfast. We had home cooked breakfast.
But where'd you go for dinner?
We had a Chinese meal.
Nice.
It's a place here in Stonebriar.
What's it called?
It's called Dumpling House.
Oh, it's good. Dumpling House is good.
Yeah.
Off Preston, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
good.
So we had some dinner. What'd you guys do?
We went to Las Palmas in Dallas, got brunch, hung out, talked shit, just had some fun, and now we're chilling. What about you?
Their Mexican food was so good,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Las Palmas is top tier. Dallas.
It was dark as shit. Like
Yeah.
you need to bring a
Like
flashlight.
the ambiance?
Yeah.
Ambiance
you need
is
to bring
like-
a flashlight or something.
Think dungeons in the Game of Thrones. Like that's how dark it is.
It's really,
It's like
really
candle
dark.
Well, if you get up the table, you're not finding it again.
No, you're not.
Yeah. But the food was good. Really
No.
good.
That's good. Well, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I think ours watch. I know mine watches all of the episodes. She
Yeah.
asked me a lot of questions. She's like, "Oh, I heard you guys talk about this. Can you tell me what this means?" I don't know if you guys do
I'm
that.
sorry to Sujan's mom that he made you a bouquet of vegetable flowers last year.
Listen, what matters is the intention, and I had a very
Bad
good
beta.
intention.
Bad beta.
Bad. yeah, probably.
So what's going on? There's a war happening?
Yeah, there's. I mean, the bunch of them if you think about it.
Well, obviously, but the India-Pakistan one, it's kind of crazy, huh?
That's the newest one. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if we want to start off with something like that, or maybe some sports.
Well, we can start with whatever we want to start with. Yeah, I guess we can start with sports. UFC was last night.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I was unfortunately caught up with something else, so
What
I
were
know
you
the
caught up
results,
with?
but just
No
some
comment?
work. No,
Yeah.
it's, no, nothing worth talking about.
Okay.
Okay, sketchy.
Yeah.
Shady.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm aware of the results, but I didn't really. I think there were a lot of. I saw a lot of comments online about some controversial decisions, but like in multiple fights.
Yeah, I think in there are a couple of the undercards. Let me pull it up real quick. That ended up being kind of controversial. It was something. It was really in the prelims, like the main card. Let's just stick with the main fight. Bilal Muhammad lost his belt to Jack Della Maddalena, and Jack's a beast, man. I mean, he's so well rounded and scrappy, can box. I think Bilal made a mistake early on in the fight by trying to stand with him to prove a point. Keep saying like Canelo hands, like he's got the best boxing in the UFC. The reality is he doesn't. but he is super well rounded. He should have stuck to like mixing it up, takedowns, you know, kind of more of like a grappling kind of against the cage type of fight like he did against Leon, but he wanted to box and Jack was just smooth. We were just watching it on the car on the way home, so.
Yeah, do you think he let his ego get the best of him to keep it a striking match, or?
Yeah. I think he let his ego get the best of him, and he found out too late in the fight that Jack is really like a sophisticated fighter on his feet, and his combos and his mid-game distant management was so good, and he was just so sharp. It threw Bilal off his game, and then he was playing catch-up, and that's the thing about these 5-round fights.
It's like when you're gonna start wrestling in round 3, 4, and 5, it's already too late.
Yeah, it's too late. Well, if you start in round 3 hard, you can win the fight because you get 3 out of 5.
But you're gonna be sweaty. You don't know if you can grab him. Like, he was complaining to his corners that I can't grab him. He's slipping off me.
Yeah.
Why are you gonna start grappling at round 3, round 4, round 5?
When he's sweaty, yeah.
Especially that when that's your game. Like, you're a grappling like expert, you know.
Yeah, so there's a lot of implications on this fight in welterweight because there's just a lot of moving pieces between welterweight and lightweight, and
Islam's been waiting to make his
Islam's
move,
been waiting,
huh?
and Dana White throughout the week, and Ian Gary and Jack and Bilal and Ilya and Islam, everyone's kind of spoken about the results of this fight being, you know, having implications on both 155 and 170, and if Bilal won, Ilya and Islam were going to be triggered to fight each other during International Fight Week. I think that was kind of the plan. And if Bilal lost, then Islam would go up to 170 and fight for a double champ status. And so Bilal did lose. Jack is like...
Do you think that there's like a conspiracy of some sort?
No, I don't think so. I think that the bigger and most exciting fight would have been Ilya versus Islam.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been more exciting. A lot of people give Bilal shit.
Yeah.
Because...
I mean, that could still happen, though. There's...
Yeah.
You know, it's not that fight's not going to happen. I think Islam and his camp are just very adamant about, like, Ilya earning that shot by beating, like, any
but
contender.
Maybe they're low-key excited that he gets a chance to go up to 170 because they didn't want to fight against Bilal because they train together and they have like a
same manager,
same manager and Muslim kind of brotherhood and dynamic. It's predominantly because they've trained together.
Yeah.
But even in those training sessions, Bilal talks about how Islam like ragdolls people at 170 and at 185, and he's very, very strong. But Jack is very he's one of those Australian rugby background, scrappy, got hands. Like, I don't think Islam versus Jack is going to be an easy fight.
Yeah, I mean, Jack was big for Bilal.
Yeah.
So he's going to be huge for Islam.
And Craig Jones and Volkanovski and like all these like Aussie boys are like teaming up against like the Dagestanis, and
yeah, this is
a growing rivalry.
Yeah.
Craig Jones especially, he's talking a lot of shit online.
Yeah.
And they want that action. He's talking shit about judo, talking shit about their camp. Alex is hype. Volkanovski. You would think that Bilal probably gets in the gym with Islam to train for Jack, being in the gym with him and feeling kind of his skill level and like his tendencies. So I think the Jack versus Islam fight's very exciting. And then you get Ilya versus Charles fighting at 155 for, I think, the interim belt, because I don't think Islam is vacating 155. He's going up to 170
could they
to be a double
create an
champ.
interim while he's still...
Yeah, that's how it works. So
if they like move up, they'll create...
So he'll go and fight for double champ status, and then essentially Oliveira and Ilya will be fighting for the interim like belt or the number one contender, but I think the interim belt.
What do you think about like Dana pretty much forcing Ilya to vacate that to move up to lightweight?
I don't think Dana forced Ilya. I think Ilya...
that's what Ilya is saying.
No. Ilya was saying, hey, I'm vacating this. I'm moving to 155. I can't make 145 anymore. He like willingly vacated. He's like, I'm pretty much. He was.
I think the news
done.
that came out was like Dana went on some record saying that like we're not gonna do this like double champ while you're holding back a division. Like if you want to move up, like you can move up, but we're not gonna have like double champs anymore. Essentially,
no, there is conversations about that specifically, like how people are doing that, trying to get double champ.
Because they'll win a belt and without even defending, they're like, okay, I want to go after.
That doesn't happen
another
often,
division.
but there is conversations about what you're saying. But that wasn't Ilya's case. Ilya's case was very voluntary. He vacated because he's like done with 145. Like he doesn't want to fight the featherweights anymore. He essentially is like, I beat Max, I beat Alex. They're the featherweight goats. There's nothing left there for me. But every fight at 155 is entertaining. I want the belt. Even if I don't get the belt, every name at 155 is exciting. And I don't want to make weight, which he's a smaller guy, so it's probably still like a hard cut for him. I think he says he walks around at like 170, like 175. So, I mean, he's like a bulky, stout dude, Ilya is, but he still is short. And the 155ers are going to be big. You know, Charles is going to look big against Ilya. I'm excited to see what Islam looks like at 170. I'm sure he's going to look like a unit. But Jack's a big dude, like you were saying. So I think this does make it more exciting for the UFC, ultimately. It just opens more kind of... Imagine, like, Islam wins the belt against Jack. Then he's defending at 170. Who is he fighting? Shavkat? Is he fighting... Buckley? Does Usman get a chance again? You know, there's just like a lot of Ian Gary. You know, Islam fighting those guys are all super exciting versus 150. I'm kind of tired of... The only person I wanted to see Islam fight really was Ilya. So, shout out to Bilal. Like, he's a badass, man. I love Bilal. He gets a lot of shit online. You know, he is kind of cringy on the mic when he talks shit. He doesn't have the best shit talking game. But even in that loss, like, he fought like a warrior, man. Like, he didn't quit. He kept trying to win towards the end. He was getting pieced up. He did some damage. He had some moments.
I appreciated that. I think Bilal gets a lot of flack for being a boring fighter, you know, to like, I guess, like a casual MMA fan. But I think this particular fight was,
I mean, even
entertaining.
Like his fight against Sean Brady was like he pieced him up and put him out. He finished that one. He just gets a lot of shit. One, because he's Palestinian too. I think people there's just like this plight against them. And I think it's pretty legendary to kind of... His come-up story is, like, legendary. Like, you know, not being a fighter growing up, obviously being Palestinian, kind of going through the trials and tribulations of that, you know, lifestyle and what that community is going through, and helping his community members get in the gym, grinding, working really hard to getting the belt. I never... If you told me 3 years ago that Bilal would be a champion, I would have been like, nah, I don't see it. But he made it happen, you know, and he beat good guys on the way. Like, he took a long journey, and it sucks he couldn't defend it. But to be honest, I've always been a fan of Jack. I've always liked the way he scraps. There's something about those Australian guys who are like rugby players. Like, if they're not fighting, their sport is rugby, which you can argue is like the most violent sport. Like, it's you can make an argument that's the most violent sport. Football is probably a little more dangerous because literally the helmets and the equipment that they wear, it makes it more dangerous.
I mean, football guys generally are bigger than rugby guys anyway.
But the violence is pretty equal, if not, you know, rugby. So those guys in Australia,
they're freaks, man.
Like,
all these like Samoan dudes,
the New Zealand, the Fiji guys.
Yeah,
but like, these Australian guys, I mean, the culture over there, they're just scrappy. It's like a scrappy culture. The guys, like, they don't fuck around. They're pretty extreme. Like, they like the extreme sports. So if they choose a sport, like I said, it's a violent sport. When they don't, it's MMA, UFC. They have a, you know, whether it's Whitaker or Alex Volkanovski and, you know, the crew out in New Zealand, the Dan Hooker and you know, it's not the same as Australia, but it's like those Southern boys. They have a relationship.
Izzy's also training there, right? Izzy also
in New
trains,
Zealand. You know, he's in New Zealand. Dan Hooker's in New Zealand, and then you get Volk and you get Whitaker and you get you know, Jack out of Perth. Scrappy, I think his team's called Scrappy MMA. But I mean, he's nasty. And when he took the fight, I didn't feel like it was going to be a lock for Bilal. I thought Bilal would win because he would suffocate him in the way that he does, grappling and mixing it up. But when he was just standing with him and we were watching it, I was like, what does he do? Like, this is a recipe for disaster. Like, Jack's a lot smoother on the feet, a lot smoother. So, I mean, he won it. He won pretty convincingly. I don't think that decision was, it was close again. Bilal like had his moments towards the end, but damage wise and just overall, just being effective and just controlling the pace and distance and stuff. Jack, and I'm pretty sure this is one of the few, if any, fight that Jack went the distance. He got a finish versus Gilbert. He got he got split decision versus Kevin Holland, which was a pretty close fight. That's what makes me think that like Khamzat runs through all these guys at 170.
He doesn't fight at 170 anymore.
But he was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if he was still at 170, he's running through all of them. Like he's.
I mean,
Well, this
but he would
brings up
also
the
be like
point-
so much heavier than these guys, though.
He fought at 170.
Yeah.
And I mean, he struggled
That was
to make the weight.
I mean, he missed after he missed the weight.
Yeah,
then he's like,
yeah.
all right, no more.
This brings up an interesting topic of I feel like the UFC's lacking star power right now. Like it feels like a little bit of a lull, especially Alex Pereira losing. Who does UFC have as like major star power?
It's not just star power. Like the UFC is really, really struggling with their promotion altogether.
Their business model altogether actually is really struggling.
Like,
that
they're
was-
talking about
I'm a-
recently, or are you talking about
I think
like
just
in general?
No,
'Cause-
recently.
'cause I
I
feel
mean,
like
they're
recently
I
making
think
it's different.
more so recently.
more so recently. It's a lack of star
Yeah.
power, but they're not creative with their marketing either. Like it's very piss poor. Like this is a very popular conversation online right now. And Eddie Hearn, who's like a very popular boxing promoter, got on Helwani's podcast and he talked about how he's like I could name like 5-6 like stars in the UFC maybe. And like boxing's still bigger. Like boxing does like cooler events. Like boxing is like consistently like putting out like better promotion, and it's facts. The reality is boxing is just boring. When the fight actually happens, it's not as entertaining, but everything that leads up to it and the way that they do the like sit downs and like shit talk and like just promote and push something before the fight comes, like the commercials, the Riyadh like when Francis fought Joshua, like the anime like videos they make, like all the shit that they do that like hypes the fight.
And even when he fought Tyson Fury.
Yeah, it's just like they do all this cool shit.
But why is that? Why do
besides
like
the sphere, like UFC hasn't been like innovative and creative. It's so like rinse, wash, and repeat. It's so repetitive. It's boring. So like the fighters are also boring. There's no star power. The fights are still sometimes entertaining. Like the Bilal and Jack fight was a good fight. The promotion was just weak. It begs the conversation of like how much of it is on the fighters' responsibility, how much of it is on the promotion.
I mean, it's definitely the fighters. Like if you
carry it,
they
but
carry
like
because the fighting nerds have potential.
the fighting nerds have potential, but if you look
to, like,
at all
bring
of
up
their
the UFC again.
fighting nerds is a good example. If you look up all the like cool like marketing, it's like random clip accounts and farm accounts that do it. It's not the UFC. It's just random clippers that are like that take an edit and like they get 300,000-400,000 views and they post it online. And MMA Guru talks about this a lot, and I think he's absolutely right about it. He's like they don't try at all. The UFC does not try. Like they don't have any really good commentators or analysts, or they have like Nina Drama. Like
She does
like,
numbers though.
Yeah, she does numbers.
As much
but
as people hate her, like
But
she's
the
like
nu-
carrying the
that's the point
views on her
is-
back right now.
Yeah, but
Which is
the
wild.
views are very like the views aren't. First of all, they're not like. It's not content that you watch. You're like, oh fuck, I'm like hyped for this fight. It's not. It's like goofy, silly, like random.
It's
and
the
like,
existing viewer. It's not
it's
attracting new
exactly.
viewer.
It's the existing viewer, and it's also
I-
just like guys who want to see girls with like boobs. You know what I mean? Like, cause half the what's it called that you're making the clip, not the thumbnails. Half the
Yeah.
thumbnails is like her, but like her tits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like conducive to like to just building excitement for a fight. Like Sujan said, it is very much for the existing fan base, for guys who think she's good looking. Like no one's like watching her clips and getting hype about the fight. That's like not what she provides.
But I
to
think the
like-
problem with MMA though is boxing only hosts a certain like mega events a year. MMA, you're like with UFC, you're seeing like basically a big event every month, right? At least there's one big event every month. So I think it's really tough to kind of keep up that type of like a presence like the boxing kind of promotions typically have. But the other like fundamental issue with the UFC, with UFC in particular, is like whenever you're marketing something, you have to market a fighter, right? So we saw this when UFC marketed Conor McGregor, and there was a point where he became so much bigger than the UFC itself. And I think UFC's business model is all about leverage, right? They don't want the fighter to be bigger than the promotion. They always want to control the fighter. And I think they're at a very, they've got some decision to make where they have fighters that are capable of kind of becoming bigger than them. Like Alex was on that run, right? Where, I think he was like at the, maybe not at Conor's level, but probably like second highest from that. Like, I don't know if you think of any other ones.
The issue with Alex is that like, he's like a character,
but he doesn't like talk, he didn't have like that entertaining.
He didn't have that.
He was entertaining like in the octagon.
Yeah.
Outside of that, he didn't have that. But there are like, even if there are people right now that have that ability, UFC's not promoting.
But there
them.
isn't though. That's the thing.
But even if there is, do you trust the UFC to go? Do you believe that the UFC is going to promote a fighter?
No, I agree.
Knowing their business model is all about maximizing, like the reason I think boxing is so big and the fighters put on a show. I mean, even the most recently part, like to answer to kind of agree with you on the creativity piece. Ryan Garcia fought in Times Square.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's a creative event.
Yeah,
now, the fight itself was like,
the
it's
next
okay.
day,
Yeah.
that was Friday. The
Yeah.
next day, Canelo Alvarez fought.
Yeah.
In
That was-
Riyadh,
yeah, that was
and
nice.
it was like like a big event.
Yeah.
It was still like a big event, and that wasn't the same.
And even
weekend.
before, I think even before that, really over the past 60 days, we've got some bangers, man, in boxing. The Japanese fighter Naoya Inoue, he fought as well. He fought. I'm forgetting his name, but this is the second time in his career he ever went down. Like, he was knocked down in the second round, and he's undefeated until now. And guy comes back and knocks out his opponent, and that was an amazing fight.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it's like the sport itself is boring for the most part. It just is. Like when you get enough UFC in your life and mixed martial arts,
Yeah.
like the appetite for violence.
this is like
picks up.
25% of the skill set of
Exactly.
that.
It's
I mean,
like
I
it's
kind of
like
get that.
okay, this is slow and the rounds are fast and there's 12 of them and it just like
Yeah.
there's a beauty to the art of like a really good boxer. Like I could watch. There are certain fights. I mean, the heavyweight ones are exciting because at any given moment they can like knock a guy out, and there's certain fighters that are still going to make it exciting. But you're right. The UFC is. They don't want to have to deal with these big egos. I think it bothers Dana, like having to deal with like somebody like a Conor who shows up late to the press conference and does things his own way and has more leverage, and like I think he learned kind of his lesson. But at the same time, that's what makes the sport bigger. So it's a balance that they're struggling with. I know that their ESPN deal is about to come up, and that they're considering because they're having a lot of issues with.
I think it's done. I think they're working on a renewal.
They're either working on a renewal, but they're also talking to Netflix because the pay-per-view model is broken, and a lot of people. I mean, we usually buy it on Streamies.
Yeah, exactly. yeah.
No, but a lot of people like.
There's a funny clip. There's a funny TikTok clip where it's this guy who says, when you're hosting a UFC fight, but using it with illegal streams, and he's like on the computer, and he's like, Buff Streams is not working. Okay, try Crack Streams. Okay, Crack Streams not working. Oh, boobs. Oh, I love boobs. It's so funny.
Yeah,
funny
the
as
amount of
fuck.
times that like
I think
the
the
pop-up
entire
windows
Reddit-
that come, the pop-up, the chat girls and stuff.
Yeah.
No,
The
you got
amount of
these
times
ad
where I'm, like,
blocker,
Xing
man.
out of the ad blocker,
Yeah.
and like Francesca's like, "What the hell are you looking at?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'm trying to watch the fight."
Yeah.
Are you on your phone?
It's like you gotta exit out of it.
I'm like,
click back
I'm like
onto
airplaying it onto my computer.
You got to
onto my
ad block,
TV
man. You
for-
got to get ad blocker
No,
on your
it is.
browser, man.
I'm out here just clicking the button 10 times and X,
Tabs.
and then finally it goes and you're like, score. And then it buffers and goes away and you're like, fuck, restart.
And then you pause it again, and then the ad pop.
Yeah.
No, man, I
You
can't
gotta
do
have-
that.
Chat?
And then you gotta have
The
3
chat?
other websites on standby.
Listen,
just
we-
written
this
down,
is
cross them out.
definitely-
You gotta cross them out as you go.
Dude,
Okay.
the part that pisses me off is like I'll go through all of the effort, and then I'll play, and it'll be like, cannot play. And I'm
I
like, bro,
know.
this was like a 31-minute commitment
Yeah,
I just made
whoever's
here.
in the chat of the Stream East, like the
Yo, who's
fake
commenting
streams,
on
whoever's
it?
Kanye, bro. It's all
commenting,
Kanye.
whoever's commenting in
All
those chats,
Kanye
like,
fans.
you guys need to go outside, touch grass,
Yo.
like make some friends because holy shit,
Who-
if you want
yeah.
to see a toxic like chat. It's in those like stream like fake or
and
those
it makes
live
me
streams.
feel like there's a lot of them because the chats keep coming.
They're crazy.
Yeah,
and they
bro.
go fast. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, how
This
how
feels
many-
like a Twitch chat or something,
No,
man. It's
not
it's like
even close,
wild.
bro. Not
Times
even close. It's
10.
like
Yeah.
the cesspool of chats because it's like an underground, like, you're trying to get
Yeah,
like
the
free
dark web.
content. It's a
Yeah.
dark web, and people are saying the wildest shit on that chat.
Yeah.
Whoever has time to just sit there and
No, it's by
There's-
far
and
it's by far the craziest chat like
by
ever, ever. Like,
But I don't
anyone-
understand, like, I can't imagine, like, watching something. I'm like, yo, I got to comment on this.
Do
Like,
you have to
who,
make an
who are
account?
you? Yeah. Who,
you have to
I mean,
like,
I don't
make
know.
an account, right?
I have no
You're
idea.
not just
no
like
idea.
you have to. So
I mean, they have a username, so
exactly,
I'm assuming
there's
they do.
usernames, man. And
The
it's
amount
like,
of commitment.
hard R. It's like so much like shit like that. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, are you guys even watching the fight? Like, why are you here? Why are you here, bro? That's crazy.
That's
to me.
hilarious.
So
That's so
I
funny.
think the UFC's got to figure out like a lot of their business model. Hopefully with Netflix, maybe some of it comes to fruition. But
I think
yeah,
that,
paying like $60 or $70
It
for
really doesn't seem
pay-per-view?
that complicated to throw up UFC PIs everywhere. And I know they're doing that. There's like in Mexico and like parts of Africa and like just different countries in the world where you build this like world-class facility where like young athletes, like young people who are talented, who might like be interested in becoming, MMA fighters go and train. And you're starting to like really get them at a young age and curate like their skill set. And then, it's really like falls into their lap. It's like a blessing when they get a personality that like, checks all the boxes and is like a winning fighter.
Yeah.
Like that dynamic is really like few and far between. I mean, I think Ronda Rousey was one of the big first waves that brought the UFC into like mainstream eyes, and then Conor like followed that really quickly, and together they took a sport that wasn't as like entertaining from like a off the out of the cage standpoint and made it super entertaining. I mean,
You know who
John
really-
Jones like DC like fights on. I still watch clips of John Jones and DC talking shit to each other and laugh. It's a clip I've seen.
Bro,
100
imagine
times.
like Chael Sonnen today, like the damage he would do.
Even like a Chael Sonnen, like who really, like when you think about it, go down from top to bottom at heavyweight. Who's the biggest personality? It's still probably John Jones, but
Yeah.
like he's older and he's kind of more distant. And Tom Aspinall is like a really good fighter, and he's got a cool personality, but he's not like super entertaining. He's pretty humble
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
family oriented.
a little bit boring
He's a
to
little
sell
bit,
fights.
yeah, he's not like zesty. He doesn't like shake shit up. And then when you go to light heavyweight, who's the champ at light
Magomed.
heavyweight right now? Magomed, not
Yeah.
fun. You go to middleweight, it's
Hamzat's there.
DDP is he's
But
exciting
Hamzat's
too.
like tamed down a little. I don't know if you
Dreykus
guys have
is
noticed.
Hamzat's tamed down because he's made money. That's the other part. It's like
Yeah.
once you start making money,
I think like with his
Starting
health
a
issues,
family.
Well, he
and I
also
think he
got
has issues
sick,
with this. Yeah,
like 3 times. Like
and his
like,
son, I think,
4
also has
weeks
some
sick, like,
issues.
yeah,
So
but
he's
dude,
trying to.
he used to like sleep in a tiny little bed under the gym that he would train in.
No, I'm not-
And he'd
I'm not
wake
saying
up,
that
he'd
he's not
train,
a
he'd go to
savage.
sleep, he'd
I'm saying-
train, he'd
No,
wake up,
yeah,
he'd train.
I know he had health
Tell
issues.
Everybody, Allah Akbar.
yeah.
He
No,
was crazy.
Yeah.
in the octagon,
In
he
the
would say that.
octagon,
Yeah,
and
But he
like,
had like 3 near-death
Yeah.
experiences.
And his
like,
son,
to the
I
point
think,
where
also
Dana White
has,
was
like,
dude,
a
this guy
big
is
problem.
like legit like about to die.
Yeah. But
So,
then
no,
he
he
got
said that,
rich.
Dana White.
you introduced me to him. Like
Yeah.
that was around the time where like we had like we met.
Yeah.
So like, hey man, you gotta watch out for this guy. And
Yeah, I mean, he's
think it was-
DDP is fun too. He talks good shit. South African. He's cool. Like
He's
cool,
funny.
like,
His interview with Nina was funny.
he's always
Yeah,
funny.
he's a
like,
funny guy.
He's funny, and then you keep going down. Now it's Jack. Jack is boring. He's so boring. He's fun when he's fighting, but like he is not somebody who can carry a promotion. Islam is entertaining in his own way.
This sounds
but
funny, man.
He's funny.
Yeah,
he's
funny.
entertaining in his own way, but he's still not going to carry a promotion at 145. Who's 145 right now? It's it was
You
Ilya.
You don't think
Now it's
Islam can
Volk.
carry a
Now it's
promotion?
Volk.
Islam will carry a promotion.
Well,
Well,
Islam
it's
can
because of
he comes
Muslim
with a
world.
team.
The
Yeah.
Muslim
He
world.
comes with a team of the Khabib team.
Yeah, the
and-
Nurmagomedov,
and that
Khabib,
always
and-
will.
Yeah,
sell
like-
I
pay-per-views.
think he has like a very good. Even when like Khabib wasn't part of the second Volk fight or the first Volk fight, like that was I think they did numbers on that paper.
No, he's good, but it's all relative. Like he's
and
probably
that was like in Perth, not even in like Middle East
and Alex helped carry some of that. And again, there's like the lore and the aura of the Nurmagomedov team that like naturally when they fight, like it's gonna get some views.
Yeah,
but you can't compare that to real game changers and entertainers like a Conor type. And that's why, like, people still call Conor out. Even though he's been so out of the game, it's still a very normal thing to have a conversation about, well, what about the Conor fight? It could be, like, Paddy Pimblett. Like, Paddy Pimblett's another good example of, like, he's kind of entertaining, but he's still not that entertaining. Ian Gary thinks that, like, he's really, like, fun and, like, he can, like, carry a promotion and people want to watch him fight. But, like, none of that is true. Like, he's really the, like, lamest dude. Like, he's a good fighter, but... he's so lame.
Yeah, that banger with Shavkat. What's like what? Why do you call him lame? Like
he's so lame. Like on the mic, like he's. I feel bad for him. Like even in this press conference, Jack got asked about Ian Gary. Like brings his son around a lot and like does stuff with his son, and his son's always like involved. And his son was like bringing M&Ms to Jack before the fight. And Jack was just like totally like off put by it, and he was like, "Okay, cool, like cool kid, like whatever, like what the hell's going on?" And then in the press conference, the pre-fight press conference, somebody asked Jack like what he thought about the, the kid and the M&Ms and stuff. He's like, "I don't really like M&Ms, and I don't even think that's his son. Like I don't think that's Ian's son, as in his current wife slept with another guy and had a different kid." Because there's a lot of these stories because Ian hired her ex-husband to be his nutritionist and to stay in the family, and like so that he gets a lot of shit for being a cuck. Like a lot of people call him that, and it's weird. Like he also trains in Brazil, and like he's speaking a lot of Portuguese, and like he changed his name to Ian Machado Gary. Like he's got this thing with like Brazilians, which in ways it's like it's cool, man. Like travel the world, train, like, but he like reps it like he is Brazilian, and then he also reps Ireland where he's from. But I don't know. He thinks he's like a Conor offshoot, but he's not. He's just not entertaining. Like when he's on the mic, when he's talking shit, I'm like, bro, like the only way your words mean anything is if you follow up with like a knockout or something spectacular. You know, like that's the only way you can. The reason Conor had
he's a good fighter.
He's a good fighter, but I never said he was a good fighter. Like
Yeah,
he beat Carlos Pretas, which was one of the guys that I said is on the come up.
Yeah.
It's the first fighting nerd that has lost.
Yeah.
He's arguably the worst of the four.
Yeah.
Pretas is, but he's still really good. Ian took it short notice, and he beat him, but he wins on the card, on the points. Like he doesn't win in spectacular fashion. So he's not spectacular in the ring. He's not a spectacular out the ring. He's a really good fighter, but like those aren't the types of people that are going to carry a promotion. Like the reason Ronda Rousey was carrying the promotion was because she had the look, but also she was finishing people like
in the first minute. Like
she was just so overwhelmingly dominating people that like everyone was like, she could beat a guy. She could probably beat guys. You know, it got to that point. And then like she had a personality that went with her look, and she was doing it in the ring. That's always the biggest piece of the equation. Khabib has all the aura because of the stuff he was doing in the ring. Conor knocking out Jose Aldo in a minute, like knocking out Poirier, knocking out multiple people, doing it in spectacular fashion, talking shit, like predicting his fights and then actually doing it is such a big piece. For Ian to be like, I'm going to finish him. No finishes. And there's all these like memes of him like with his like legs spread, like pressing someone against like the cage. He does it every single fight. Like he holds somebody against the cage and he wins like control. He wins by control time and by like volume of strikes. It's like the most boring way to win. Like the reasons why people don't like Bilal is for the same stuff. So I mean, it's exciting. Hopefully, international fight week's coming up. Usually they stack those cards and they make more of a promotion behind those cards. And I'm pretty sure, it'll be more hype. But yeah, there's some issues, man, with the UFC. Like it has like a monopoly over MMA. Like no other promotion can compete, so they don't have competition. And I think that's problematic. Like when you have like
in the West, I think in Asia, one is still. One is, I think, gaining like huge popularity in Asia.
It's not,
in Asia.
Yeah.
In Asia, there's another big problem that we can talk about. when you're ready.
Another fight, another scrap.
Another fight. Yeah.
Who's got
which promotion's gonna win that one?
Who's got the worst accent? And there's no winner in this fight. God.
Oh man. Yeah. How much do you guys know about that?
I mean, little. It seems like there's a ceasefire, but I'm not sure. I'm not.
I
really
love what Tim
following it.
Dillon said, where he basically was like, when India and Pakistan go to war, the ceasefire happens in 2 days, but Ukraine, Russia, or Israel, Palestine, it's going on for years.
Yeah.
Like, it's clear that like some people don't want some wars to end, and will rather have other wars stop. So
I mean, even I think I'm a lot closer, obviously, just geographically, and also with like my group of people to this than you guys are. But by the way, that's the same exact messaging and same exact like sentiment around this war from both sides. It's like most normal people are thinking the same thing. It's a war for profit, and it's they've created this arbitrary conflict and escalated it, and somebody's now benefiting off of it, right? It's China is providing military support to Pakistan, where they're like sending out drones and like all this is happening now, and America is providing military support to India, and they're somebody's making money off of this, and that's all that's happening now.
for sure.
And Americans still haven't said anything about providing aid to India the same way they said about Ukraine, by the way. I want to point that out.
Yeah, but because Pakistan's also an ally to America, right? Which it makes it complicated. Not really.
No, Pakistan's more of an ally to Iran and all of them. Yeah.
Pakistan's not an American ally?
No, India is an American ally.
No, I know India is,
Yeah.
but I feel
and because of their pre-existing conflict, Pakistan's not an ally.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I always thought that
Not
they
in
were both, they were
not
both American allies.
If anything, I would say they're not our enemy.
Yeah.
I would maybe put it that way, but I wouldn't say they're an ally of the American government.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of political instability in
but they
Pakistan
still
as well.
they I mean, it seemed like Trump got on a phone call, did the ceasefire in 2 days.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Alle-
Allegedly and legendary. Honestly.
Some Indian leaders are saying, hey, who was he on the call? I don't remember seeing him there, but hey, man, whatever helps. But the funny thing is that the ceasefire ceasefire happened, and it went into effect, let's say, at 6 p.m. And at 9 p.m., there were bombings in India again, right after the ceasefire. But the problem is, this is not the initial escalation wasn't done by Pakistan per se. It was done by this militant group that exists in Pakistan, but they're not part of the government, right? And
without any aid to other foreign countries, who wins?
Oh, India.
By far?
India. I think India is
And not even close.
Yeah, I think India is top, fourth largest, or fourth largest. I think it's America, Russia, China, and India in terms of military power.
Pakistan's a pretty big army though too.
Army, physical army.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but
and they have nuclear
Technologically,
weapons.
behind.
but
They both have nuclear
who's gonna
weapons?
win? I mean, yeah, they're both nuclear superpowers. Yes, they both have nuclear weapons.
They have nuclear
They
weapons.
both do, yeah.
too.
But I mean,
That's
in
scary,
the
yeah.
way wars are fought today, armies don't really matter as much. You
Yeah.
know, it's mostly about what type of weaponry you have. And India has, they spend a lot of money. They spend a lot of money on their military, and they're up there. I think fourth in the whole world in terms of how much they spend on their military.
Yeah.
But what I like about this is the internet has come together. Both Pakistanis and Indians have come together, and adopted the meme culture. Like one of the ones that one of the there are a bunch of people, influencers online, like Pakistani influencers and Indian influencers that are trying to make the best of it. I'll tell you guys about this later, but some of the comments I saw that I found really funny. Aaron mentioned one earlier, which is all the scam calls have all of a sudden stopped.
Low key, I have been getting less scam calls while this started.
That is not a thing, man.
Why is the scam culture so big in India? I mean, that's an interesting topic too.
Yeah, man. I think like
this is very. I follow certain accounts online where there's a couple of these guys who like hack
not just scams, like even like bots, like anytime somebody needs to do some type of propaganda, it's like they're paying like an Indian company to go and create like thousands of accounts and just exist in social media. I mean, this is like a very real thing. What you're saying.
Yeah,
I don't think like I am best positioned to answer it. I mean,
I don't understand because you do get a lot of scam calls from Indians, and it messes up like a real. I feel bad for like Indian like BD cold calling sales guys who are actually trying to sell something real.
My team.
Yeah.
So this is like a very real thing that my team faces every day, where the amount of calls I get after they hang up. With let's say they talk to a potential candidate, and they have a great conversation with that candidate. The candidate calls to our main number and gets rerouted, and they don't stop until they call the main line, and until they hear like
they're trying to validate that it was real.
Until they hear like a normal accent. They're like, hey man, I just want to make sure I'm not getting scammed.
Yeah,
part of like our process, we need like your PII, like your social and your date of birth. So I understand where they're coming from, and you're exactly right. The people that are, doing part of these like scam call centers are only harming the people that want to make a living doing ethical work.
But it doesn't seem like they care.
They don't,
which is crazy. Like they're so willing and able and okay to like screw people over, like old people. Like most people who get tricked by the scams are very like vulnerable people in some way,
it's not that they get tricked by it. It's targeted to them.
Yeah.
The scams are like the IRS, the IRS scam, the gift card scam. I mean, there's like several of them.
Yeah.
Your computer virus scam. I mean,
that girl singing to that guy.
Yeah.
That one was funny.
Yeah, I mean, like it's so big that there are literally people online whose job is to take time away from these scammers, and they make content out of it.
That's so entertaining to me.
Yeah.
It's so
it is very funny. Like getting them to rage.
They like hack. Like
why did you redeem?
Yeah.
Why did you redeem?
Yeah. They hack their like cameras in their offices, and like they're like, I see. There's one that the guy's like, I see you sitting there
that
in
guy,
the green jacket. You can't run from me. And he's like calling all of them out.
And he says their name too. He says like their actual name. He's like, I see you, Pradeep,
Yeah. And I'm like, bro, that's legendary to like use your skills to be. But it's just unfortunate because it sucks to have that Indian accent and to try to do good, honest work through the phone. Like you're really poorly positioned because for the most part you are. I mean, I would do the same thing. I would re-verify if I hear someone I don't know call me cold and it's like an Indian accent, I'm assuming it's a scam. I'm starting off with the assumption that it's a scam.
Yeah, you're preconditioned to think that way.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. Like
and most of the time you're right though.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
that's the part that sucks.
I don't know about the most of the.
No.
I don't think we're getting any scam calls targeted
if somebody's
to us.
Like,
do
you
guys
Frank,
get like? I don't get a lot. Do you guys get a lot?
I get a lot. And they're like, this is Frank. I'm like, bro. Your name ain't Frank, so we're starting off on the wrong foot.
Tell me your brown name
and tell me exactly what you need. My social. I would be more willing to share my information.
Just tell me your real name. I'll give you my info.
I'm like, listen, I got kids to feed. This is the only job I'm good at. I'm trying to scam you. Can you please send me money?
No, man. It's
more open to that. It's unfortunate.
I think that like that's a point I definitely want to address because obviously
now they're going to be using AI and they're going to be just raking in the money.
Yeah. They're going to sound white.
Yeah.
They're going to sound white. They're going to be like, I want to sound like a white girl.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be raking in the money.
I mean, the benefit of this is going to be like all these like people that are employees are going to be out of a job, which is great. But the people that have the money that are employing them are going to use these AIs to continue to like make money off of older folks. I don't know. I mean, I think that's one issue, like, how we address that here. But I know a lot of.
So wait, how do you think this works in India? You think like there's like a billionaire that like is housing a bunch of Indians that are doing scam calls?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a billionaire, but yeah,
it's like a legit business.
It's legit business. They're
by the way,
in an
this
office,
is not even an Indian. Most of the time, those people that own the business live here.
Oh wow! And they're just hiring, outsourcing to Indians.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
they're not. These guys aren't like living in India. These guys live here or some type. Some type of Western country. Exactly. They live in some type of Western country.
You couldn't do that in America. You couldn't. I mean, there are scams in America too. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but you couldn't stand up an LLC and have like a corporate office in a corporate building.
No, because money's like it's traced, all together everywhere.
So
you know, here.
you set up the company outside of India, and then you get these people to do it. And what do you tell them straight up like, hey,
They have a script. And
they have a script like, this is what I need. I
Yeah.
need you to scam these.
yeah,
people.
exactly.
And then they're like, okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
And it's
Just
like
give me the money.
it's like any sales job where like sales people have scripts too. With cold calls, it's
Yeah.
like it's scripted, right? You have
Yeah.
like a script, and then you lead to a part of the call where, oh, okay, this guy's interested in buying what I'm selling. Now the manager gets involved, and this
Yeah.
is like a normal sales job, not like scams. But the scams are built the same way, where they're like getting ready, like when they know they have hooked somebody in and it's starting to get their information, then the manager gets involved.
Yeah.
And uh-oh.
No, we're good.
Uh-oh.
No, I don't trust them. All right, he's good.
But so it's unfortunate.
But you know what it is? They definitely know that they're scamming people. Now, the word scam, I think they take it a little bit loosely, because I'm fairly certain the way they're taught there, and this is like a real condition that exists, and I'm sure like you guys could connect with it too, is like everybody thinks people in America are making a lot of money, right? That, oh man, they're earning in dollars, and they always do that conversion right back to like whatever the currency is, where they're based out of. And to them, they're like, hey man, yeah, we're only asking for $50. They have hundreds of thousands of dollars, so we're not doing anything bad. And that's I'm so certain that's how they
That's facts,
justify
bro.
this.
Yeah, that makes sense when you say it.
No, but
and then they
that's
think-
part of it, but sometimes they try to get more money, and they're trying to get it from older people.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you
of
know what
course, I mean,
And, like,
even within these groups of people, there are people that have different like ethical lines. I'm
Yeah.
sure,
the whole thing is unethical, but yeah, there
yeah,
are
just like even within like a criminal organization, like the level of risk and craziness that somebody's willing to do is different. But I'm fairly certain that's how these guys are thinking.
For sure. They're thinking, what minimum wage is $20 an hour here in America.
Yeah.
It's probably $5
No,
an hour
they're
in
thinking
India or
they're
whatever.
thinking
So
like,
it's
oh
like,
man,
hey,
this
if I
person's
steal-
old. They've worked all their life. They have hundreds of thousands of dollars, or millions of dollars, right? And if I'm asking them for $50, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even impact them in any way.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. But they're not thinking that there are like hundreds of these companies that are set up to do this. And most of the time, the people that fall for it, those people don't have money. They're like the uneducated. Because the wealthy people, they're educated. Their money's managed by somebody else. There's no way somebody who has like $2-3 million in their 401k or something is falling for this. No way. I refuse to believe that.
Yeah, I mean, if you could catch the right person at the right time, I think.
Yeah.
I think you can. I think you can scam.
These guys make a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
It's like we only see like these one or two videos online, but this is like a multi-million-dollar industry.
Wow.
Scamming people.
No, I believe it.
Like it's so prominent that the IRS sends notices to all like older Americans saying, we will never ask you for money if you owe us taxes. Like, we're not going to call you. Like, this is how big of a problem it is that the
Yeah.
IRS had to like take like necessary steps to like handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The AI is changing the accent, and a lot of people are going to be cooked because of that. And even the iPhones now, they pick up like scam likely. Like they'll try to tell you ahead of time from the number.
Do you guys sometimes answer it just because you're bored?
I answer it because I've gotten.
I do sometimes.
I know. I answer it because
I don't
I'm
pick
like,
up.
I didn't get that many calls.
I
Today. Let
only
me just
pick up
fucking
phone
answer
if it's somebody that I know. Otherwise, leave me a
Damn,
voicemail
you're
and
so
I'll call you
lonely
back.
that you're talking
Yeah,
to scam.
sometimes I'm like, fuck, I didn't get any calls today. Let me just pick up
He's
the
like,
phone.
like,
And-
thank you for thinking about me.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll give you my social security, but first let me tell you my issues, man.
Yeah,
I'm going through
exactly.
shit right now.
He's like, can you listen to me?
Facts.
Listen, I know you're scamming. I'll give
They're
you
like,
20
that's
bucks.
fine. Can I get your social security number, please?
He's like, oh my god, I've never been saying to.
There's a video of a scam where like obviously it's one of these guys that likes to set up these scammers. He's like, yeah, I had to cut my left leg off yesterday, and the scammer's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Can you give me the money?
Yeah, they do not.
This whole this whole thing has been insane, man. Oh, I get those a lot.
I get those a lot too.
I get those a lot.
The toll
Yeah,
tag,
of course.
The toll tag one is a good one to.
By the way, even
to
if it was
trick people
legit,
with.
I'm not paying that. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but that's it. But
No,
they
that's
but
fine.
they're smart enough to know the ones that people like people are not paying their tolls off. Like a lot of times,
I don't know how they know my number because I have a New York number. So I don't even know how they know that like I'm using toll tags in Texas. Like that's
what I'm
wild.
saying.
Man.
They're definitely getting access to data.
Yeah, somebody's selling them all this data.
I use Yelp business account,
Mm-hmm.
and they reach out to me regarding my Yelp business.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that proves.
They know like when I'm logging in.
Yeah. That's wild. That proves that all of our data is like getting sold, man, whether we like it or not. It's all being like recycled. Somebody's making money off of it, and like we got no control of it whatsoever.
And I want to know how much money they're making. Are these guys billionaires, millionaires? Probably, right?
Like the people scamming us, no. But the
No,
people,
I'm talking about the guy who
workers
owns
oh
the
yeah,
farm.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're millionaires to me.
Think about
These
the
guys are
business
millionaires.
structure. They're not selling anything. They're not holding any inventory. They're not. There's nothing that they have no cost.
And these guys that work,
They're getting.
they're all
nothing.
commission.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
and
They're
not.
get-
They're not getting
They're not
much.
getting paid salary.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, hey man, collect $50, and you take 20, I take 20, or like you take 25, I take 25.
Not even that. I would doubt that the split
Yeah.
is even that much.
Yeah.
It's probably like, hey, here's if you make 100, like you get to keep $15-$20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something like that. So then they're incentivized. And
Then
they're
maybe
work-
that's the reason why they're now like, hey man, I need $200
exactly
or $500.
Exactly. Then the
right?
number goes up, and like
Yeah.
they're more persistent because maybe they get away with the big scam and like, oh shit, I just made like a fat little check. But it sucks, man. It's so sad. Like honestly,
Yeah.
it's very sad.
I don't understand. Like, you know,
It just had to like
you
grow
waking up
and then
it-
become a scammer.
yeah.
Like grow up and like you're a grown ass man who like for a living you're scamming.
Yeah.
Just think about that. Like that's sad, man. And is there like do you feel like the caste system in India has any relation to like
No.
who ends up being a scammer? Or is there
Absolutely
anyone who's in the high end of the like high class, the Brahmins or whatever the highest class is that becomes a scammer? I don't think so.
There's no correlation.
There's no
Brahmins can be
correlation.
scammers, and I could tell that, like, cause I'm a Brahmin,
Yeah.
bro. I've seen some
No,
shady
the,
ass
the
Brahmins,
toll
bro.
tag, the toll
Oh, that
tag,
makes sense. I didn't know that.
the toll tag
Yeah.
scam is legit, bro. It's
Yeah.
tricky. Is it from Valor? Do you guys get it from Valor?
I don't know, man. I
don't
get
even
so
look.
many. I just keep like report spam. But I get a lot of those.
Yeah, it's like student loan. It's like
But-
ones that you're like.
But I
really
know we
like,
get a lot of people watching us. You know, like especially people that are close to me that watch this show. You know, leave us a comment and tell us why this like culture, or I don't want to say culture. Why this exists like in India, and why India is like predominantly the main country where this type of a business model can thrive in. Because you know, it's like you're targeting older people. You're targeting, in a lot of ways, like senile people. You know, they don't have the ability to think for themselves, and you know, and they leverage like they emotionally manipulate them as well because they probably don't have kids, and you know these guys invest like hours and hours in talking to people. Like if you guys have seen like some videos on YouTube, I've seen multiple videos where this guy has kept like this scammer on the phone for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And this guy's like committed for 2.5 hours. He's like on the phone.
Well, they get pissed because I guess if they're working on commissions and they just lose
Yeah.
3 hours of their time, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, they're
so funny those videos.
Guys,
are
if
so
you're getting
funny.
scam called, go on the journey with them. Make them feel like you're gonna they're gonna get the information, and in the end they're gonna be so butthurt, but they deserve it.
every
I'm
minute
sorry,
they
I have no
spend with
empathy.
you.
I have no empathy for a scammer. Zero.
I mean, every minute they spend with like somebody like us
But
is
it's
one
cool,
less
though.
minute they
Like,
could have
you
spent
can-
with older
you can
people.
actually like tell them to do whatever for like at least like 30 seconds, and they'll listen to you.
And then they deserve to get paid at a certain point. They deserve it. They've earned it.
you're like, can you say please?
So you want to like
Can you say pretty
remodel
please?
this thing?
Yeah, pretty please. Can you give me your
Dance for me,
social-
monkey. Dance.
Yo, there's a video. There's a video of this of one of these guys who sets up scammers. He's like, "Can you sing for me?"
Yeah.
The guy starts singing, bro.
There's a way funnier video of a girl catching up to the scam and making a guy sing for her, and it's hilarious.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
absolutely
Bro,
hilarious.
it's wild, man. I don't know.
I think Nigeria is another place where it's very
Yeah.
popular. That's like another
But
country that's
it's
like
not like call center scams, right? It's most like
It's
it
more
used to be like
online.
the email.
yeah,
type of
email.
stuff.
I've gotten an email before and almost got early in my career, my
Wow.
early 20s, fresh out of college, running a remodeling company, and I got an email that this company needed like a big order to do these like gold frames in their bathroom, and I was like, hell yeah, I'm about to win like a big business. And it was like some random account, and again, you kind of live and you learn. Like, you don't understand these phishing attacks and these scam calls until you actually experience them. It's hard to like know what it's like until you have an experience. And I remember getting really far along, and at the very end, the guy's like, all right, in order for you to get like $6,000 worth of business, I need you to buy this $500 gift card, and then we'll take that and then we'll turn it into like, and I was like, why am I buying something all of a sudden? How am I? And then I totally cut it off after that. I didn't fall for it. But in the beginning, I was responding. And
on eBay or Marketplace, when you're trying to sell something, like they
Oh,
get
yeah.
to you quick.
Yeah.
They get to you quick, and they're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'll buy it. Like,
Yeah.
I just, I need your address.
Yeah, I'm
and-
out of
and number.
town.
I'm out of
I'll
town.
I'll send you a
I'm at my
check.
daughter's. I'm at my
Yeah.
daughter's
Yeah.
wedding. I could send you a check. Can you give me your
Yeah.
address and social security
Yeah.
number or whatever?" And you're like, "Fuck yeah, I got my deal. Like, I'm about to sell these tires. You know, I've been waiting to sell these tires
Yeah.
or whatever."
Yeah.
Bro, they're tricky. And then
Name what do we think like our top 5 scams are? Like, or like what are some scams people need to be on the lookout for? I know there's definitely
the toll tag is number one.
that's more common for I think DFW folks right
But
now.
that's definitely
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
The IRS obviously is up there
Yeah.
in the top 5. The
I think
fake
the ones who-
job scams.
Oh yeah, fake jobs. Yeah,
scams
fake
are
jobs a big one
huge.
right now.
Right
Fake
now
jobs
it's
a big one.
ones,
because
Yeah.
because it's that one's the most sophisticated because they put you through an interview process.
Yeah,
and they set you up to
multiple
feel like
rounds too.
Multiple
Yeah.
rounds just to get to the end of the part where you're filling your I-9 or like your verification forms, and you're
Yeah.
giving your information. Like
Yeah.
that's the end game for them. So they put you through the journey. So like, oh, okay, now you got the job. Now we need your social security, your address, like all your information, so we can generate your offer letter. Which, when you're desperate and looking for work,
Of course.
it's hard not to
And
like
to me,
fall
that's
into
not
those
like
traps.
far fetched.
It's
like
not.
you know when you're looking for a job and you have an offer and they're like, "Hey man, give me your date of birth and social." Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
you know,
and
like,
they're smart. They cover their corners. They have a LinkedIn page. They have a
Yeah.
Glassdoor. But then if you do enough like research, you'll see like, oh no, this is a scam. But some people, they just don't. I mean, I think those are the 3. There's the dating ones too.
There's another common one. It's where, like, if you randomly get a money in Venmo or Zelle, like they'll send you money, right? So this is called like the Zelle or the Venmo or the Cash App scam, where like they'll send you money, let's say like $500 or something like that, and then they'll be like, or rather, like, let's say they were supposed to pay you with like $20, right? They'll oversend you money, and you send the money back. And the original money they sent you also kind of
Bounces?
it bounced.
Yeah.
Essentially, like they send it to like some type of a fraudulent way where the bank just takes that money back, and now you're out like the $300 you sent because you're responsible for that.
Yeah, that's crazy. I haven't seen that one, but
That and same thing with like checks as well. Like that's where like the Facebook Marketplace scam is really big, where they'll pay through check, and most banks cash checks and make funds
even if
available
you're
at the
trying
same
to
time.
sell a car.
Yeah.
What is it, cars.com or whatever you're trying to post your cars to sell, all like 90% of the time it's scams.
Yeah.
Like,
I bet a lot of these are like bots and automated like scams.
I mean,
now.
those scam companies are making money, and they are leveraging AI and technology, and they're I'm sure they're buying data. Like, I'm sure when they are purchasing things with the money they make, that's probably what they're buying. I mean, it is honestly a very interesting space to like try to better understand and break down, because it's very prevalent. Everybody deals with it, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. There's no like undoing it. You just have to be smart enough and hopefully have like a support structure around you when you're older. That's the people I feel the worst for, is like older people who are out of touch with technology, who take, their finances and things serious. And if they don't have, if they have unpaid debt, or if they have things that they didn't pay off, like they have anxiety about making sure it's paid off. So like it's easy to trick them because they're, they want to they want to make sure they have a clean slate. A lot of Americans are wired that way. So it's sad, man. I feel so bad, but
I think more so for younger folks, just make sure you educate your like older parents or grandparents on all the scams out there, so that way like they're prepared. I know my mom gets a lot of those, and there are a few of them where I had to tell her like, hey, like stop it, like block it, don't give them anything.
yeah.
Because like they're so good at it, man. I mean, we could talk about like all there, and there's
They're
always
good-
something
they're
new,
good
man.
in
The amount of innovation that is in this like scam industry, bro, like this is like next
There's
to
a lot
AI.
of times like they're good and they're relentless. Like getting a no or getting hung up on, or it's not going to stop them. They're not like they're so used to it. They're so conditioned for that. There's nothing you can do to get them to stop. You could tell them how bad of a human being they are, and they're just like, okay, they're gonna keep going. You know, a lot of times I'll pick up and I'll be like, listen, please stop calling me. He's like, okay, we'll put this number on like a no call list, and I get a call the next week. It's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? I'm
Because
like,
your number's like sold to like 100 different places.
yeah,
How are you going to control that? You can't.
yeah, you
control
can't. So, damn, man.
that. I don't know how we ended up on this with India versus Pakistan, but
Well, I mean, it's just the silver linings, man.
but I gotta ask you guys. I asked you this before we started recording. So a while ago, about a decade, I think it was like more than a decade ago. There was this like video that was really popular on social media, and it was basically these line of kids in Pakistan, and they all walk up to a mic, and the teacher's holding a mic up, you know, to their face, and they just have to talk about what they want to be when they grow up. So, you know, a kid walks up, he's like, when I grow up, I will be a pilot. You know? That's what the kids
You're
sound.
very good at
That's
that.
what the kids sound. Hey, man.
Do you want to be a pilot, by the way?
I want to be a pilot.
That's when you actually officially become a pilot. We're gonna be clipping
That
this.
clip is so attached to you beyond this war, bro.
That's my identity now.
Yeah.
Because like, aren't you trying to be a pilot?
I am.
So when you grow up, do you want to be a pilot?
I guess, yeah. Damn. What's up, Lucky? I think and there was another one where it was the
here.
kid walks up. He's like, I will join the army and I will destroy India. So I've been so curious. Like, where are those kids right now, man? You think they're in the military?
I mean, there's a chance that they're in
For
it.
sure, bro.
And it's interesting that's
Like, where are you guys? All the kids that went there wanted to be a pilot, wanted to be like destroy India. Like, where are you guys? If you're watching this, like, hit us up. We'll make it happen. We'll do like a show with you guys.
I wish that, there are other ways you could resolve conflict that didn't have to be centered around these like aimless, senseless wars. Like, I wish it was like hey, all right, we're beefing about this territory, or we're beefing about this subject or whatever the hell it is. And it's like, send your best warrior versus our best warrior.
Like a 1v1.
1v1 gladiator style, or like, let's do a gauntlet of sports.
Yeah.
Let's do,
Isn't that how they did it in the old days?
Exactly. Like,
right?
Like you it's like, gladiator style. Like, all right, let's like get in the ring, and whoever wins, like, gets to this is the reward. I wish there was some kind of, more entertaining way that you can honestly capitalize and like sell tickets behind.
But then how could they do that if all they're doing is lifting 10-pound dumbbells?
I know, that's what I'm saying. It would be that's the more interesting conversation of who's winning, the fight. When Tim Dillon talked about it in that podcast, he's like, showing clips of the war, and he's like, I don't know what side this
Which
is.
side is it?
He kept saying that. He's like, I'm trying my hardest not to be racist, but whose bus is that just got blown up? Is that an Indian bus, or is that
Like Andrew Schulz did a bit where he had a show in Hong Kong, and he's like, listen, if you guys end up fighting against China, how confident are you that you're going to recognize which side is which? Which is that exact same bit between India and Pakistan.
I mean, we could talk about this later, but Andrew Schulz has like changed up this past couple of years. I mean, he's like, I feel like on such a, I don't know if it's the right wing, but he's made such a switch up.
he talks about it a lot, that like
the drop, the fall off. I mean, even if you look at his comments, like he's just getting so much hate now that people are like, why did he change up so quickly? But we could talk about that at another time. But I just find it so interesting. That
What's been happening with him?
right now he's just he's like losing a lot of fans because either his political views are going like further right now, far right. Lucky. But he used to be like one of my favorite. I used to love watching the Flagrant
it's not just that
podcast.
he's going far right. It's just he's kind of lost. I don't know. He's lost touch with his like main fan base a little, and it's not just like on the political stuff. It's really across the board. I feel like you get to a certain status in life where you start becoming very successful, and the circles and the rooms that you're in starts to change, and you kind of lose touch with what got you there. I think you see that with like a lot of celebrities. I don't think Schulz is any different than the guy that he's always been. I think, you know, he has the Flagrant podcast. He's also on Brilliant Idiots. I like to watch Brilliant Idiots. I don't really watch Flagrant anymore. I think they're all kind of, it's like a little bit of an echo chamber. It's redundant in a way, whereas Brilliant Idiots has a little bit more of a nuanced dynamic because they have different like school of thought, the people on that show. And when I observe it and I consume their content, he talks about this a lot, how like people call him more right wing, and he talks about how like it used to be cool, like liberals used to be cooler about how they were welcoming and opening for different like ideas and freedom of speech, and now the right side has become more about freedom of speech, and he's kind of followed that as a comedian. You know, speech is everything, and there's like a lot of censorship that was happening towards comics that was coming from the left. And so part of it is the right wing stuff, but the other part of it is just inconsistency about like being American first, but not really going hard on Israel, like being.
But like, let's take all that out. Like, let's take the right wing stuff out, the political stuff out. I just feel like even visually, just like watching him, it seems like his demeanor is different. Don't you think? Don't you get that? Like, I feel like his sense of humor is different.
No, he's not as funny, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
He's just not as funny.
And he's like less happy too, it seems like. I feel like he used to joke around. He still, as a comedian, he jokes, but I just feel like his whole energy is different.
So I don't know if you've seen his recent stand-up.
No.
It's called Life, I think, or something about life. But essentially, he talks through his journey with his wife getting pregnant, and they had like a lot of struggle, like starting their family. Like there's a lot of issues, and he comes clean and starts to highlight that a lot of the issues were with his sperm and like his inability to procreate. Like it was like things that were problems for him, and he's like kind of talking through it and trying to normalize the conversation. So it's very like heartfelt, and I think it's like interesting content, but it's not that funny. It's just not that funny. It's not the traditional like shoot the shit, like fuck around type of Andrew Schulz, like single Andrew, bachelor Andrew, kind of like The Boys.
I really loved when he like went in on like he really showed off his like intelligence when he was like traveling around the world, and like he knew about every single stereotype about every single group, and he was like bringing people together like with his stand up in ways, you know, where he was like addressing a lot of these stereotypes and kind of like, you know, in a similar way that I think we're trying to do, which is just like bring humor to it and just talk about it. Like,
he did a good job.
I hope he's good. I hope he's good because he seems off.
I mean, I don't know too much about like how he's doing, but I always appreciated that piece of him is, you know, how he just kind of humanized all the different groups of people, and he would like travel around the world. And
I will say I can't remember the last time I listened to something that he said or did and I laughed. So I mean that says a lot. And comedy to me, it's like I don't care who the messenger is. If the message is funny, I'm gonna laugh. Like I'll laugh at people I don't like if they're funny. Like it doesn't matter to me. But his stuff just hasn't hit the same, and maybe it's for a different audience and it's funny for different people now. And as you get older, like what your life experiences are dictate like what you commentate on and what you make jokes about, and that changes, right? And it changes for people. Even like, you know, we went to Maz's stand up, right? We had Maz on the podcast, and Maz Jabroni has been in comedy for over 26 years, I think he said on the pod. And you know, some of his older clips are really, really funny, and like when he came back this time around, like I still thought it was funny, but I wasn't like laughing like crying laughing, or like, you know, and Francesca, like she struggled to relate to a lot of the comedy because it was very tailored to brown people, right? So it didn't have like a more kind of broader audience. But Tehran like was talking that shit, was funny as hell. Like he was kind of uncensored and just raw, which was cool because I felt like he was more reserved on the pod in a little bit more politically correct and like kind of fair, you know, whereas his stand-up he was talking shit.
Yeah.
So I think you see that comedians have their moments, and Andrew Schulz, he pioneered like YouTube as like a resource. He was one of the pioneers for.
Didn't he like? So you guys might know this. He kind of took all the money he had, created his own special because Netflix like wouldn't want to put it up.
Yeah, but
so.
even he did that. But even before that, he was the pioneer behind the clipping short format.
That's how I found him, by the way,
Yeah,
like on
yeah,
YouTube, and I binged like and it was hilarious, man. I remember like
and
spending
it's
hours
crowd
on
work. It's doing your research. It's like going to different parts, going to different states, going to different countries, doing some research, reaching out to people in his friend groups, like, hey, you're from here. Tell me about your stereotypes. Tell me about the things that you guys do, and playing into that with crowd work. I think it was very clever. Like, it's a very clever way of being funny, because it's not necessarily about like developing this just joke that is about you or your life experience like most comics do. And he was doing it online. He was giving a lot of his content for free. He's been in the game for a long time too, right? He was doing things on MTV, Guy Code, I think, way back in the day, just grinding. Like, a lot of these comedians are constantly grinding and reinventing themselves, and then they hit this like pocket where like it just like everything comes together, and then they blow up. And like he had that moment, and it feels like we're past that in a way, and maybe he just hasn't found himself in this like new version. And again, it's very objective, man. This is our like opinion. Like, people might find him to be hilarious to this day, top comic. I still think he's like a funny dude. Like, I would shoot the shit with him. Come on the pod. I love him on the pod. You know, he's been an OG in the podcast game too. I think 10, 11, 12 plus years podcasting, right? Our cousin, actually, Wajma, before she passed away, was friends with Andrew. And I have texts. It's crazy. The last texts I have with her are from like 2018, 2019. I think 2019. And this is before Andrew like really blew up. And we just started like listening to him between each other. And she's texting me. She's like, I heard you just started watching like Andrew, like he's my boy. And she sent me a screenshot of their text conversation. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And she was like, yeah, I was going to shows when there was like 40, 50 people in the audience. It's cool to see him like blow up. And then 2020 happened. He went on Rogan. And I think Rogan is a platform that people get on. And like, if you kind of don't know about somebody and then they go on Rogan, it's like everyone knows who they are now. Like it just totally like, you know, he has this platform that like has this touch of gold for like a lot of people. And he's made a lot of people kind of mainstream comedians through his platform, which is pretty cool. And Andrew talks about that a lot. So, you know, it's interesting, man. It's interesting to see, you know, like Eddie Murphy, for example, right? He's like a legend. And like Eddie Murphy Raw or like Delirious back when he was like in his 20s, like wearing these like crazy suits, like talking shit, is so funny. But then as he got older, like the comedy, you know, with age and with like access and influence, it's like when you get, you know, they say in boxing, like, or in fighting sports, it's like once you sleep in silk sheets, it's hard to get up and like win again because you're not fighting from the gutter anymore. You already made it, and you have a lot more to lose, and you have like, you know, less kind of in common with the everyday person. So you can't joke around about everyday life experiences because your life is just on a different plane. And there's a lot of that. But you know, this new world of comedy, everyone's got a podcast. So it's like they talk a lot and they get a lot of content through just conversation. And because they have this high intellect and this capability they have the gift of gab, like often like they're really funny on their podcast, just commentating on everyday stuff. So this stuff is super interesting to me. I mean, I'm interested to know who our audience's like favorite comics are, you know, to post.
You guys big on like, you guys, I guess maybe like who are your favorite comedians?
Right now, like I love Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon is like really, really funny to me. And he does a lot of political commentary. He has a podcast, but he also had a stand-up special that came out recently on Netflix. And he did a show, like a new age, what's that show that the guy passed away who the crowd used to fight? It used to be like a lot of salacious stuff back in the day. Popular TV show. God, now I'm blanking.
Jerry Springer. He created like a new version of that. Tim Dillon did. So he's one of the guys who just makes me laugh a lot. Theo Vaughn, I think, is really funny. Shane Gillis to me is really funny.
You know, his like Trump to me is like really, really funny.
Yeah.
Schulz doesn't really have.
Who was that guy? When they went on Tony Hitch.
Kill Tony
Kill
Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah,
Hinchcliffe.
Kill Tony is a cool show.
When he did his like when Shane was doing his Trump impression against who was the guy doing the Biden
His
impression?
name's Adam Ray.
Yeah,
Adam
like
Ray.
that was.
Yeah, I watch
Dude, that was
Kill
killer.
Tony often, and when that comes on, it's always gold. Like
Yeah, that
Shane
was
Gillis is so funny, man. To me, he's hilarious. Like he just talks shit. He like normalizes a lot of the shit talking, but now things have kind of come full circle. You know, it used to be not too long ago where saying like gay or saying retarded like was like, well, you can't say that anymore. But it's kind of come back to where it's almost normal again to say it.
No,
and
that's
to joke
just
around.
you in the group chat.
I mean, I don't think so. I think you see it often, like with Shane Gillis, like he'll be like, oh, that's gay, bro. That's gay. He'll like say that a lot. And it's funny. It's like the dumbest things for guys, more often than not. It's like fart jokes, like somebody falling over, somebody like that shit like is timeless humor for guys. Like a guy's going to laugh at something stupid, 9 times out of 10. So to me, like those are the guys like I really like. I don't know if you guys have any like newer comics that you watch or listen
Not
to.
newer. Like if I had to pick like a small studio, small crowd, maybe anywhere between 50 people. Like what would be my dream comics? I would say I would love to see Ricky Gervais. I love Ricky Gervais. He's like one of my favorite comedians. Dave Chappelle and probably Kevin Hart. I would say those three.
Kevin Hart?
Yeah, if I see them like in a room of 50.
Not now, but like
No, now.
No.
Yeah, like I'm
but
saying,
like not the way they are now.
no, I'm
like-
saying like
He's saying
today.
right now.
Put
He's
me
saying
in
right
a
now.
small
Yeah.
comedy club right now. That's
Yeah.
like audience of 50 people. The three people I would love to see is Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, and Ricky Gervais.
Okay,
Like
Dave
that,
Chappelle for
I would be
sure.
like geeking out.
Yeah.
For me, the three, I'll make it 4.
Like
The
just imagine like you're at the Addison Improv and they say, okay, today guys, like I know you guys booked tickets for this random show, but today we have a special guest. Like, you want to stay in your seats. Like, what would get you the most giddy to see?
Definitely Dave Chappelle, Shane Gillis, Cat Williams. I'll make an argument that Cat Williams is probably like would make me laugh a lot, and then Theo Vaughn. Like those are really the 4. Really the 3. I'll give you a top 3 to see in an intimate improv type of Addison Improv setting would be Dave Chappelle, Shane Gillis, Theo Vaughn. Those would be my
What
3.
about you? Who would you love to see at Addison Improv?
I mean, some combination of like what you guys said, but the first guy that I watched that I just found hilarious was Russell Peters. So I think like I don't think he's doing like much stand up these days.
Let's get him
anyway.
on the pod, bro. I think it's possible.
Yeah, he was his like way of normalizing like the Indian stereotypes. I think he opened like a lot of doors.
sure.
He's also an OG
He's
guy.
legendary.
Yeah, he's
legend.
And I remember like this. I think this was like high school, man, and everybody was talking about Russell Peters, like white, and this is New York, right? So all the white people, all the brown people, Asians, like everybody's talking and trying to talk the way he's like imitating their
That
culture.
YouTube clip, it's a YouTube clip with that orange background, I think.
Uh-huh.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
dude,
like
we
the old
watched
school.
That. We
The
watched
old-
that.
Yeah, the old,
so
the old
480p
school.
or
Yeah, you said
whatever.
Andrew Schulz,
480p.
Russell Peters, bro. Like
Andrew
he-
Schulz was the one who normalized
like
the
clips.
clips.
Yeah,
and stuff.
you-
Like
you're right, but
he,
yeah.
he made that famous.
Yeah.
Now everybody does it.
Yeah.
Every comedian does it.
Yeah, but
and,
like those, and I remember watching like those entire specials like multiple times, and even like rewatching it, like I found them funny. So I don't know.
there's a guy that comes up on our TikTok all the time that is doing some new age type stuff. I don't know if you guys see it on our feed because we share the page. His name's Morgan J.
Oh my God,
You know
bro,
what I'm talking about?
he is hilarious.
Yeah.
He's like
He throws the
"What's your
auto tune
name?"
on.
Yeah.
He throws the auto tune on and
What's
he's
your
like
name?
singing and he walks around and like you see the people in the audience like waiting like it's like what they're coming for. It feels
For
like
sure.
they're
He
like
sells out every show.
every show.
Well, he
Every
sells out
show.
every show because his comedy style is so unique. It's different. He doesn't go
and he
do
doesn't
a bit.
even have a bit. Like
he doesn't have a
he
bit.
doesn't
He
have like a
goes there and
bit.
people
bro.
know that like it's interactive.
Yeah.
Like,
It's,
he's
it's
gonna
next
go-
level crowd work.
Yeah.
It's like the most engaging crowd work.
You'll walk up to a couple and like, "Oh, you hitting it raw?" Like you'll just be doing stuff like that, bro. His whole
It's so funny
bit
that
is like being goofy.
it is. It's funny, and it's something that I would want to go to. And
Yeah,
like,
it's so funny, man.
you never know. You might get like walked up on because he's not just going to the first like 4 rows. Like he's literally like working his way all the way through the crowd. His cameraman's behind him. He got the auto tune on. A lot of times, like he's getting it down to a point where he knows, like, if the person is gonna play like really into it. And I've seen some of the clips where somebody's like full singing and they cut the auto tune off, and it's just like their voice, and it's so like cringy and awkward, and it's even more funny. So, shout out to Morgan J. Like he's a cool
he's
new
blowing up,
comedian
man.
that's
Yeah.
doing it differently. Like.
He's always on tour, but yeah, he's all over. I think even on our like our page, but even on my personal TikTok, he's all over. He's all over TikTok.
Yeah, he's just coming.
The
up.
ladies love him too, man. He's like a big ladies man too.
I think that like in general, comedians' pull factor is like.
I would love.
You think they got Riz
What do you
'cause the
guys
comedy?
think? What do you guys think,
dude?
What?
You go somewhere.
rank like the top 3 qualities in a man. Like where would like
Top 2 qualities.
Like-
no,
like,
no,
sorry,
no.
like-
no. His question. I know what you're about to
Where
ask.
I'm about to ask.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you want to say? Profession, or should I say like archetype of a man is most attractive to women?
So we can say profession because that's more simple.
which
Okay.
one makes the most money?
But that's not it.
But that's not
because
it, though.
humor is a whole
It might
different
be.
thing.
Actually, no, because there's a lot of rich people that don't have girls.
Exactly. So
So-
it's not just money. I would say athletes are always.
You think they're
number-
like rich people with
There
money
are-
that don't have
There are a
girls?
lot of rich people out there that are struggling to get girls, for sure.
Like,
It's
when you
not
say-
rich girls struggling. It's not rich guys struggling
Rich
to get
guys-
girls.
rich guys
Maybe
struggling
they
to
might
get
be
girls.
struggling to find a wife.
No, what
I don't think so.
archetype or what profession, what professional male
Because if
has
we
the
go
most
out
riz?
to the club,
Has the most riz? That's the way you platform it. Because
Okay.
riz isn't
I've
about
got
money.
two. I've got 2 on top of my head that I don't think you guys would beat.
Okay, well, what is it?
It's comedian is up there. The second is religious leader. Like I'm talking about priest, pastor, imam. They pull, bro. I mean, it sounds weird
What?
to say.
What are you guys talking?
I'm
what?
telling
No,
you,
that's
bro.
facts.
It's
In
facts.
terms of
Girls
influence
love
and
these.
what's
these-
the word?
You think
Because
it's part of like, yo, I'm not interested in
I think
you.
it's a
and
little
then-
bit of everything.
dude,
I think they're
it's-
good on the mic.
yeah.
I think they're good speakers.
Yeah, no, this
but
is
if
a
you
good
look in
debate.
history, if
This
you
is
look
a
in
good-
history, like
Yeah.
there's a lot of like religious people that like have just a cult following of women. Like it's like a known thing.
It just
So-
it goes back to like status and how women like will love a man of status. And there's, I mean, dude, you go to a comedy show and it's just a guy on stage with a mic and everyone's just watching and staring and listening to what they say. Like that alone, that level of like power and influence is gonna create this like attraction that's really hard to compete with.
So,
It's
so
just
now you have to think about it. And this is how I think about it. Like, which guy could be the ugliest guy but still pull a girl based off like what he does? And it's probably musician, comedian.
No,
and-
man.
and
Number 1 is professional athlete. Number 1 is professional.
Professional
but that
athletes up
takes
there.
away from attractive level because professional athletes are attractive by nature
Brother,
because they're built.
Bo, like within a week of signing his contract, had a girl.
Oh, the tall African guy.
No, it's tricky because
He's
professional.
also tall though.
Yeah, no, this is
He's
what I'm
also
saying.
tall.
No, man, that's
he's
not-
also tall.
He's right. He's right because
6'6" guys,
what
6'7"
he
guys
said.
can pull.
What profession can a guy be ugly
And short.
and short and unattractive but still like
No,
have,
for real. What being
okay,
4'10"?
okay.
Tell me,
Yeah.
like what's profession? You could be 4'10" as a guy.
Yeah, then comedy
Rockstar.
might be up there, bro.
Rockstar's number one.
Rockstar's a musician.
A musician.
Yeah, musician's number 1 for sure.
And then,
Okay.
And then I think-
Virat Kohli's number 2.
Yeah.
Well, Rockstar's number 1. Comedian has to be number 2. Or Rockstar's number 1, and then
I think religious leader.
religious leader's number 2,
For
and then
sure.
comedian's number 3.
Yeah.
I think that's the
That's
order, and
wild.
I think that's absolutely correct.
And that's facts.
And it's
I think.
crazy
Yeah,
to think
hard
about.
to hard to argue against that. Yeah.
It is. It
yeah.
is. So if you're an ugly short guy, man, either pick up a Bible or pick up a joke book.
That's hilarious. So I want to talk about we were talking about the Italian brain rot the other day, or like the other episode, and the Tim Cheese lore, and that got me thinking about like what, because there's a lot of young people that saw us from those clips, right? So thinking about what's going on in the young feed, I want to talk a little bit about streamers and educate you, and also educate the viewers that don't have jobs, that are like really interested in some topics.
They're spending their days watching streamers.
Yeah, because there's an interesting thing going on right now where streamers are becoming the most famous people in the world. Like, they're becoming more famous than athletes, more famous than musicians. Like, they're becoming number one. So I want to talk about, and I want the viewers who don't have jobs, who are interested in figuring out, like, me explaining the lore. And I think it's going to be funny explaining it to Sujan too, because Sujan, you're totally unaware of what's going on in the streaming world.
Because he's fully employed.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's
He's
not
a
evidence.
grown-ass man. He's fully employed, so he doesn't know anything about it.
Okay.
I mean,
So-
I know like maybe their names, but I have no idea what's like
All
happening.
right. Do you
in
know
the
who
streaming world?
Marlon and Lacey are?
I've seen clips from it.
Okay. So
I
let
know
me-
Lacey's hilarious.
Lacey's
Lacey's
Okay.
hilarious.
So
Marlon,
let,
I
let
don't
me
know too
let me
much
break
about.
this down to the viewers who don't know who
Yeah.
they are. So Marlon is this 6'5", light-skinned guy with an aura of like Duke Dennis. Do you know who Duke Dennis is?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got-
He's the like part of like the same group with like Kai and them. Yeah?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly. And his aura is like
Yeah.
top tier.
But
aura.
Marlon's a good looking dude too. Like he's,
Yeah. But his aura is like what's killer, right?
Yeah.
And then he's got a partner in crime, kind of like his Robin. To
Yeah.
you know what I mean? His Robin is Lacey, who's this guy who's also getting like low key more aura now too.
And it's a very like Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum, 21 Jump Street dynamic that these guys have, which Marlon is like grifting in a way, because it's like a really good looking girl surrounding themselves with fat girls is what he's doing, from my opinion.
Well, so Lacey used
I
to
see
be
what
fat.
you're doing, Marlon. I see what you're surrounding yourself with a whole bunch of fat girls, pretty much. You're the pretty girl with fat girls.
So
maybe that's where the aura is coming from. You know, he's just around all these people.
I think 6'5", good looking guy, athlete, like no matter what, he's gonna have aura, but it doesn't hurt to surround yourself. You know, you can't appreciate like an 8 or a 9 unless you're around 4s. You know what I mean? And that's
Fair
kind of
enough.
what he's doing.
it's an interesting world right now, because Lacey was a fat guy who was a troll on XQC's stream. Right, XQC's another streamer
Right, yeah.
that it just streams him playing video games.
Okay,
and
great.
he was trolling him on like one of the comment sections and just sending money.
Bro, you
anytime-
said you have a job, right?
Yeah, I got a job, but let me explain this to you, because this
I
is
got time.
This is I got time to explain this.
Yo, give me a manager's
So,
phone number,
he's-
bro.
He was a fat guy trolling XQC and got famous because he would send donations or subs or whatever they do during the streams to XQC whenever he died, like playing video games. And
Okay.
it would go on the chat. And you know, have you seen those streams where like a donation pops up and then it just
Like it
reads
reads out the
it out?
message, yeah.
So Lacey would do that to XQC, and Lacey ended up getting famous from it.
Okay.
So now he's lost a lot of weight. He's leveling himself up, and he's with Marlon. Lacey ended up signing with FaZe, and now he's dating this girl named McKinley. McKinley is Jack Doherty's ex-girl.
I don't know what that is.
So
bro, you're like
does
name
that-
dropping all
So-
these people like
so
I'm
Jack
supposed
You don't know
to.
Jack Doherty?
Jack Doherty.
So and then
No.
Marlon, I think, is staying at Nick's house. Nick.
Nick,
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn,
no, you don't know who
bro.
Nick is. Nick is the editor for Nelk. So he was Kyle's editor.
Yo, like
So-
the Nelk.
Yeah,
No,
the
boys,
Nelk.
full
Like,
send.
oh,
Then he
oh.
broke off and started doing his own
He
thing.
started
Damn.
broke out. He broke off.
I'm
and started-
part time, so I kind of know things. I got part time jobs.
You know, yeah, so Marlon's staying with Nick. All right, Nick got kind of
Yeah.
finessed by Nelk and Kyle, and it's like a full circle. But right now, Marlon and Lacey are like becoming the next like biggest streamers.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to explain that to you, because I know you're unaware what's going
Yeah,
on.
I know we're trying to appeal to our younger audience, so I'm willing to get educated.
Yeah. So
Yeah, apparently Speed is making Italian brain rot with Lacey and Nick and Marlon at Jack Doherty's house behind the Nelk Boys' back.
Yeah. Who Nick is editing that.
No, Toon Sahor is actually editing that.
But McKinley's
But
acting
I thought
like
Tung 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 went
McKinley's
to jail.
acting like she likes Lacey, right?
Oh no!
No, he didn't go to jail?
Polizia, no.
Our boy Dan bailed him out.
You know what's
Dan,
crazy?
we need Dan. Dan Cogdale needs
Imagine
to
explaining all this.
No,
Dan, Dan, you need to represent Tun 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 Sahor because he needs your help because the policia. No.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy? Is
Yo,
that
imagine
Tung Tung
Indian
Tung
brain
Sahor-
rot. Yo.
Oh.
Yo, Indian brain. Tamiem.
A lot of poop.
What? Bro, what?
A talking poop in the Ganges
What would
River.
what would like the main
Oh.
character's name be?
A talking poop that floats in the Ganges River. And he cleans up the river though. He's like a
Tung Tung
clean.
Tung Sahor.
He's like a clean poop. He's like a poop with hygiene.
Tung 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 Sahur could be the villain.
Is Tun 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 Sahor Indian?
I think so.
Oh.
I think so.
No, bro, he's not Indian. Is he?
How's the main character in Italian Brain Rot Indian? That's crazy, actually.
Did you hear the Brazilian Tung 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 Sahor song? Where they
Yeah.
did that shit was fire.
Goes hard.
That was
This clip, we need to just add
Just
that.
add that after.
Just add that. Or
but-
what about
Oh my god, I want to tell Sujan about this
Yeah.
guy. So it used to be Tung 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 Sahor that was the #1 Italian brain rot character.
Yeah.
Now he's been surpassed by Per Patapin. All right, Per Patapin.
What?
Per Patapin is now a DJ, and he's DJing, and his songs are gas.
bro? They're booking him at all the elite rooftop bars in New York right now.
He was at a rooftop bar in New York City, absolutely shredding. it, bro.
Vibing, bro. Burr burr burr.
Patapin.
Burr 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 Potapin fucking spins it.
Stop, bro. You guys.
It's
I
hilarious.
you know, I need your pay stubs to confirm you guys are employed, bro.
I
too
kind
much.
of know these things because I'm part time. I'm not fully
This
unemployed.
is too much, bro. Oh,
But
my
anyways,
God.
we'll see if McKinley and Lacey last. I don't see it happening.
I feel bad, bro.
You know what's funny? I actually know who you're talking about because.
See, you want to act like you don't
Yeah.
know.
No,
You know,
no.
bro.
I'm
You
connecting the
know.
dots now because Lacey came up because Marlon, and I saw Marlon was doing like a clip came up with Marlon and this girl. They were cooking or something. Like it was like 3 seconds. I swiped up, but I think she had like blonde hair or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's her
Yeah.
because I read the comments and it was like about like them getting together or something.
But
like
Jack
that.
Doherty, you deserve it, bro.
Listen, man, we need to start streaming, bro. Like, these are ideas like I've told you guys like 4 months ago, and you guys like, you know,
Yeah, but where
Laughed
the
at me.
hell's that?
Lacey and Marlon,
Where
they're
the
like
hell's
they're
that?
21,
Where the hell's
22-year-old
that?
kids.
Because they go off because of the huzz.
I don't know what that means.
Exactly. And you think you're gonna go off on streaming? You don't even know what huzz
Do you know what
means.
what is it? Fine shit? Do you know what fine shit is?
Do you know what YN means?
Fine shit is like good looking, right?
No. See,
No?
we need to up the lingo
know.
before we start streaming.
I know. He
Damn,
wants to
bro.
stream and talk
Fine
about being a
shit
pilot.
is-
All right, bro. Let's end this so I can skibbity out of here, bro.
Okay. All right. I think
That's
we're good to wraps.
I think
Yeah,
that's
let's-
wraps.
let's
for
wrap
me.
it up
That's
today.
We talked about God knows what for 2 hours, man. Fucking A.
this is our brain rot,
I
bro.
know.
This is adult brain rot.
Wow,
going
I'm
on
brain
here.
rotting. I don't know if I have a brain anymore. All I know is I'm not getting scam calls, so I'm happy.
Hey, just so keep the war going.
No war. Peace. Peace and love in the
So
Kashmir.
you're willing to like accept scam calls for peace? Like how many scam calls are you willing to like accept a day for peace?
It's
Like
call
anything more
all
than that,
day.
and you're all day.
As long as it takes for them to stop fighting.
Yeah.
Senseless.
Nah,
It's
like,
worse. They're
3
they're-
calls.
They're killing each other. Half the people on this side of the world thinks they look the same. Everybody here
yeah.
thinks that it's just a bunch of people killing each other that look the same accent, same people. You know, have zero empathy for any of it. Don't care. Couldn't care less.
I asked an Indian about what his thoughts on the war, and he said they're not coming to South Lake, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I swear that's what he said.
Word for word.
He said, keep them there.
He might have been Pakistani, but he's confusing them now.
He's switching sides.
He's switching it up.
All right, anyways.
That's end of our episode. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you on the next one.